So whip only is probably the most, I don't know, quintessential Dark Souls challenge run there is. And it's not one that I've wanted to do simply because I don't think it's interesting, especially after so many people have done it. Like, all it is a low damage weapon that's kind of slow and can't riposte, right? So, like, what are the positives? And that's like why it's a common challenge run. And of course, there are others in similar veins, such as bow only or like crossbow only. Even like spells only are similar because you're extremely limited in how and when you can attack. But whips are just like the main one that everyone thinks of because, of course, whips are a terrible weapon in this game. However, I want to do it in this context only because I'm curious as to how bad they actually are, or even if they are actually bad in the first place. I don't know if I'm gonna go with just the base whip for the whole game or if I'm gonna get the notched whip. I think I'm gonna stick with the base whip, except for a couple bosses such as Stray Demon and what's the other one? Sif, I think, is also not weak to bleed, but not resistant to it either. The notched whip is in the Painted World from Jeremiah. Maybe not. First order of business, of course, is getting the whip. I was contemplating just hacking it in the asylum, but it's also only the asylum demon, and I feel like collecting the weapon is a big part of using the weapon and um, ranking it in terms of other weapons. Going into this, I mostly just expect it to be, I don't know, I don't think it'll be that difficult. Maybe a little tedious with a couple of bosses. Um, the main thing I'm worried about is Gwyn, but Gwyn also isn't that bad. And I believe the whip has the same thing with the halberds, where if you whiff, you stagger for a little bit longer, but it's basically impossible to whiff after getting a parry. And I think it's fast enough to be able to parry and then do an attack, even if it's not a riposte. Um, so I'm not too super worried about Gwyn. Beyond that, I don't know. The only other thing I parry is like Black Knights and NPCs, and without parrying, they're really not that much of a threat anyway. I guess I also usually parry hollows, but I learned to deal with them without it. Um, and then I guess there's another thing I parry, I swear. Um, I don't know. There are a couple of random enemies that I generally parry to deal with, but I'm not too concerned about it. Okay, just don't want to get toxics. Oh, that shouldn't have one-shot me. Ugh. I say that shouldn't have one-shot me as if I'm not going into like a mid-game. Yeah, I'd say this is about mid-game area. Right off the bat without my main weapon. Maybe I should have one-shot me. Let me through, please. Jesus. Okay, not too bad for someone who knows Blighttown as well as I do, at least. One of my favorite levels, so I suppose it shouldn't be too shocking that I can get through it backwards so early in terms of levels, but nah, I don't know. Not too bad to grab if you know where you're going. I don't actually know any of the like motion values or whatever of this weapon. I know it doesn't have any strength scaling and it has B scaling in dex. However, I don't know if two-handing is going to be worth it ever. Wow, that sure is damage. That's a lot faster than I was expecting though. That's not too bad. We'll see how it feels against an actual enemy instead of just a random obstacle. The whip can be buffed. Do I want to buff it though? I don't... Hmm. I don't know if I want to go glass cannon whip build, if I'm being honest. Plus, once I get to the DLC, all my buffs will be worthless, basically. Um, I don't know. I think I'm going to go unbuffed for now. Because I can deal with pretty much any DPS that this game can throw at me on pretty much anything. So, we'll see. I also feel like it makes more sense to go this way, since this is the way I would go casually with pretty much every weapon, even if I was doing all bosses. Because doing a ton of damage to the Taurus Demon... Oh, my controller. What? Okay. Doing a ton of damage to the Taurus demon feels really good. My controller just kind of like disconnected there for no reason. I'm using wired. What? Why did that happen? Whatever. Alright, I'm gonna go full noob and grab the Cross Crush shield real quick. Just because I feel like it'll come in clutch later. Ball? No? Okay. Yeah, so if you don't know, the main drawbacks with the whip are the low damage, as well as the extremely low poise damage. And also the fact that you can't do any critical attacks. So you can't backstab, you can't riposte or parry. Nothing like you can't plunging attack either. So you can't, but I think it does like go around shields or something. I don't know. I think there is a positive to the whip. I don't think you can parry it. That's a big one. I don't know. I've never used it before. Just because I didn't think it would be interesting. But admittedly, I am very curious. I think there is like a falling attack, but there's no plunging attack, critical animation, or whatever. I wonder if Power Within and Red Tear Stone Ring would be worth it. Probably not Red Tear Stone Ring. Like I said, I don't really want to do Glass Cannon, but RTSR might be worth it. Did I say RTSR might be worth it? I meant Power Within if I did. Okay, it doesn't even have a falling attack. That's interesting. That's so cool. Okay, the range is pretty good, and the fact that it doesn't bounce off of enemies is nice too. It does have its pros. Obviously, its cons probably outweigh its pros a lot. Yeah, like, am I really going to be taking out a Black Knight like this? Wait, it does bounce off of walls, but it doesn't bounce off of it. Normal weapons don't bounce off of enemies. Okay, but it has a good range. Okay, positives. There are some. Why is that doing less damage now? It has a sweet spot, I bet. Ah. It might not, but that would explain the fluctuating damage if it does. I came over this way so I could take out the Crystal Lizard, but, you know, no falling attack made that slightly more difficult. So, but while I'm here, might as well take out the Taurus Demon. I know I said I like big numbers, but we're not getting big numbers with the whip. That sure is technically damage. Why is that strong attack so slow? Jumping attack has pretty bad damage too. What is that range? Okay. And I just want to be clear that I'm not expecting them to be like better than people say or whatever. But I do expect them to... I do expect my opinion of whips, or at least the whip, to change over the course of this run. Whoa, it's staggered. After half its health bar. Okay, the running attack is better. Okay, that strong attack is very much not worth it. It has better range than the jumping attack, but that's the only positive between the two. I suppose it's also easier to pull off, but it doesn't really mean much. It does have B scaling in Dex, so maybe it'll be usable with higher Dex. However, I don't have high hopes. Might as well go up and get this out of the way real quick. I am significantly worse at parrying the greatsword guys. I was gonna say especially that attack, but then I nailed it, so... Guess I'm cooler than I thought. Turns out I am only marginally worse at parrying the greatsword guys. Unfortunately, no boar stabbing today. No stabbing implement. I guess it kind of makes sense that the whips don't have criticals, if for no reason other than it would be a weird animation. But I feel like they could have had some other thing to make it stand out. Oh, okay. I don't know. I feel like going around shields, like the Shotel, I think it's called, would have, like, at least that would have been better, right? Though I guess the Shotel can riposte and also goes through shields, so I don't know. I feel like they could have done something to make whips stand out, or at least be significantly better. Give them like a really precise but really, really good sweet spot or something. They could have done something. But two-handing seems to be worth it. That's quite a bit more damage, especially with the Grass Crest shield, so stamina isn't really an issue. It might become less useful once I max out my dex scaling, but still. I feel like the no critical damage or critical attack thing is going to be a lot more important early game than it will be late game. But even then, I don't know, it hasn't felt that detrimental so far. I feel like the Wolf Ring will be extremely useful for the Capra Demon fight later. I'm thinking I'll grab Power Within on my way down through Blighttown, because I'm definitely going to go through Blighttown proper, just because I want to go through the depths legitimately instead of just clipping in there to grab the large Emperor and running. Oh wow, instant tail break though. That was kind of surprising. I thought I took more damage than that. This won't be the worst gargoyle fight I've ever had. Wow. Okay, I'll take it. Oh god. No, wait, hold on. I changed my mind, I won't take it. No, everything's fine. I think I'm good at the video game, technically. Neither of them are breathing fire. That's pretty rare. Guess I'm not really... Guess it doesn't really matter, but I couldn't see. That one wasn't fair. I could see. I'm just coping. Okay, whatever. Not the worst gargoyle fight I've ever had. Definitely not the easiest, though. It seems like the devs expect you to fight the gargoyles and then come down into Darkroot, just because you get the... You can get the... Actually, wait, where is the Watchtower key? I might be lying. No, yeah, okay. Now that I remember how the game is laid out, it feels like the game expects you, or rather the developers expected you to fight the gargoyles, you know, go through the burg, go through the parish, fight the gargoyles, and then fight the butterfly, explore the garden and then the basin, because there are so many things in the garden and basin that help with the Capra Demon fight so much, right? Like there's the wolf ring, there's the elite knight armor, there's a grass crest shield. Those are all extremely useful for the Capra Demon fight. Plus you get Havel's ring, which can also be extremely useful for wearing the elite knight armor. And then if you go up here and then across the Taurus Demon Bridge, that leads you straight to the lower burg, right? So it really feels like you're supposed to do the garden and the basin in between the parish and the lower burg. But I don't know anybody who's actually gone through the game like that. That just, from where things are placed, feels like how the game expects you to go through it, you know? Though, to be fair, I suppose if you die to the Capra Demon a bunch and just aren't having fun, it's very easy to get... Whoa, Havel's coming up far. I've never seen him come up this far. What? Where? How? I've never seen him do this. I'm gonna quit out so I can get the Crystal Lizard. Anyway, you're probably gonna explore if you're struggling on the Capra Demon, which is gonna lead you to the garden anyway. So, if nothing else, you know, there's that. Oh wow, one shot then thieves. That's actually kind of surprising. I wasn't expecting that to one shot. Or even reach with how terrible the range is. Should I go in now or should I go get the shortcut first? Let's do it. It's just a Capra Demon. How bad could it be? Ooh. Like I said. Hitless Capra. Hopefully. Move, please. I can't do a blending attack. Thank you. 110 damage isn't great, but aside from that, took care of the dogs just fine at least. I really feel like the range on this thing should be better. And the sweet spot. Honestly, if the range and the sweet spot were better, this would, and it didn't bonk on walls, this would probably be a really good weapon. Not a really good weapon, but I don't know, usable. Nice. First try, hitless Kappa Demon. Maybe the whip isn't so bad. So far, this is definitely harder in a casual run. The weapon is worse than most other weapons, but I wouldn't consider this a challenge run. Like, I don't know, like most of the videos I do aren't challenge runs anyway, right? They're just random weapon showcases. Because I think that's more fun. I like learning about the game. I like using weapons I've never used. I like seeing other people use random weapons. I think it's fun to, oops, see how different people play with different weapons. But like, if I were to do a challenge run, this would certainly, or if I were to do another challenge run, um, I would not consider this a challenge run at all. This is just a playthrough with a weapon. Even if the weapon happens to be significantly worse than most other weapons. Like, there are other weapons that are definitely worse in it. The Ghost Blade, just for its range, I feel like is worse, right? Though, again, that one you can riposte with, so depending on the enemy. But, like, I feel like once I get to Artorias, this is going to be better than the Ghost Blade. I still haven't beaten Artorias with a Ghost Blade. Just because it's so... the reach on it makes it so annoying. Nope. Ooh, that was very close. I was frames from taking damage. Actually, that's kind of the reason I'm using this weapon in this format. I didn't want to make it like a weapon showcase, because people have used the whip before, right? People know it's not good. It's not, but it's also not an interesting challenge run, because it's just a normal playthrough with slightly lower damage and a couple capabilities less, right? But so overall, I don't think it's that interesting of a challenge run, but I think it is a lot more interesting to look at the weapon as a whole throughout the context of the game, rather than just saying, oh, this weapon isn't very good. Can I beat Dark Souls with it? Like, yeah, obviously you can beat Dark Souls with it. Why, why would you make that a challenge run? Or why would you even frame the video around that question? Obviously it is possible to beat Dark Souls with it. I don't know. That's just kind of always irked me about certain challenge runs. How, like, it's obviously possible, but that's still, like, a question. You know, it's still presented as if it might not be. I don't know. That's probably a very personal thing, but... Okay, rats are annoying, jeez. Alright, let's see. Oh, I forgot to save Laurentius. I'll do that after this fight. This damage is really bad, but it's not the worst I've had against the Gaping Dragon, I suppose. What? That... Okay. Sure. Wait, if it hits a wall, you take more stamina? Or you lose more stamina? That's really weird. I don't know if any other weapon in the game has that mechanic, does it? That doesn't feel normal. I took damage from that. I didn't even realize. That's so cool. I think Gaping might actually... Well, okay. It's kind of between Centipede, Gaping, and Ceaseless for who has the worst hitboxes. I feel like it's probably Ceaseless, but Gaping is pretty bad. Yeah, okay. Like I said, not great damage. Not the worst I've ever had. Not, the hardest Gaping Dragon fight. Not like the Gaping Dragon is the hardest fight anyway, though. Also, a lot of people complain about Blighttown. I don't understand why. Like, it's kind of difficult, I guess. But I wouldn't say it's anywhere near the hardest in the game. And, like, if you know where you're going, you can finish it in probably one of the shortest levels in the game, if you know where you're going, right? Which I think is really cool, because it just gives you that extra level of... I don't want to say customizability, because that's not the right word, but, like, it gives everyone their own experience with it. I really like that about it. But also, you can have several experiences with it as an individual, right? And there are a bunch of ways to go through it. It's like a puzzle to solve, more so than a level to conquer. And I really like that about it. It's also a really good maze. A 3D maze, right? Which is I don't know, I think that's a really good way to design a Souls level, just as a maze. Oh my god, I don't know if I can outrange that. Guess we'll see. Okay, yeah, I think I'm fine. Jeez. Fighting this thing is always scary because it does a ton of damage and it'll probably one-shot me. Oh, shoot, I forgot to save Laryngeus. I'll do it when I get back up. I should go do it now, but I don't want to climb up that part of Blighttown. I'll do it later. It's fine. He can hold out for a little bit longer. I didn't kill the butchers, but it's fine. Oh, hey, back to our roots. Alright, let's see our damage on Quelaag. Can't imagine it'll be very good. My guess is like 50, maybe less. 83? What? Really? That's actually kind of surprising. That's a lot better than I was expecting. If I remember correctly, the Drake Sword at +0 is like 72 damage a hit, which is kind of my baseline for like a bad weapon that's falling off. And that, I mean, don't get me wrong, 83 still isn't good, but it's a lot better than I was expecting, at the very least. I mean, I beat Quelaag with like 30 something before. Slightly faster weapons, but still. There we go. That was a little greedy, but it ended up working out, so it's fine. Now, while I do have 40 dexterity, I also only have the weapon at +5, so don't take this damage as an indication for what it will be, but this is max scaling. So I'm a little bit worried, but I do know that weapon upgrades give a lot more than scaling. Plus the scaling will increase from B to A later, so a little bit spooked, but it should be fine, probably. There's so much better damage than the compound bow with large arrows, jeez. If I could aim. So Dark Wraiths are one of the few late game enemies that I basically only parry, so let's see how bad they are without riposting. Okay, well you can't even riposte that attack, so... One of the main reasons I tend to parry them is because they have attacks that hit you multiple times. So, and I usually don't have a lot of poise. So one attack will just do a ton of damage to me. But at least with parrying, it's high risk, high reward sort of thing. There we go. Okay, not that bad. This is also only at +5 still, so that might contribute to how low the damage is. Maybe just a little bit. Okay, in theory, after I kill the giants and then get to the blacksmith, that should be plenty of chunks. Oh, right, I didn't get the fire link on fire. That's so awesome. I was gonna say I'm bad at parrying the halberd black knights, but I suppose that's not the case. I have finally made it back out of Blighttown. Jesus. Wait, 146? That's not a bad number. That's kind of crazy. I was expecting so much lower. I guess that giants just don't have very good resistances. I know that the man serpents have a relatively high physical resistance for whatever reason. Um, but 75 is still feels kind of low. I don't know if it actually is. I guess I don't really have a point of reference since I usually riposte them anyway. I don't know, I feel like, or I guess I do parry riposte a lot more enemies than I thought I did, but regardless. I guess it's just because I don't parry bosses very much, except for Gwyn, obviously. Actually, I think Gwyn is the only boss you can parry, and a lot of the time, especially in challenge runs, I'll just sprint past most enemies, so riposting doesn't usually cross my mind. I think that's why I don't think I riposte as much as I actually do. And while I'm at it, I might as well go and get the slab so I can have a plus 15 against ONS instead of just a plus 14. Alright, let's see how long the Stray Demon fight is gonna be. Oh, that's not that bad. I mean, plus 13 weapon at 40 dex, but still, a lot better than I was expecting. What about the strong attack? Okay. The running attack is just better than the strong attack. That's awesome. Oh god. Jumping attack might be the way to go, though. That's really, really good damage relative. Oh, I should get Power Within, too, before I forget. Or, I mean, the Pyromancy Flame. Go save Laurentius. Like I said I was going to do a while ago. There we go. That was a shockingly short Stray Demon fight, all things considered. I was expecting that to take much longer. Was it Daughters of Ash, the mod that that made it so you couldn't riposte Black Knights? I feel like I am playing that right now. That was such a weird change, because like it doesn't make the Black Knights any harder, it just makes them take longer to kill. What was with that? Wait, the Butcher's dog doesn't respawn? This whole time? It's never respawned? How did I not know this? What? That's so weird. That's such a strange enemy to not have respawn. Like, does this one respawn? I'd hardly ever kill that one, though, because it only aggroes when you try to go up the stairs, and I hardly ever try to go up the stairs. I'm pretty sure the one in the water respawns, right? That's so weird. I'm baffled. Must have tried to dropping attack, and then I remembered that that wasn't a thing that I could do. Get myself an attunement slot, and the rest can go to vitality. I can't imagine the Iron Golem will be that difficult, even if we end up doing extremely low damage, but might as well Power Within, just to see what the whip is truly capable of. Maybe I should have grabbed Red Tear Stirring, just in case. If I really need it, I can go grab it, I guess. Oh, okay. See, that's not that bad. Like, not the best I've ever seen, but certainly not the worst. Especially with how quickly the stamina restores, like, I don't know. Certainly not challenge run worthy. I've done the entire game with this level of damage before, even without, like, the crits and the low poise damage and stuff. Ah, not that bad. I feel like, I don't know, I guess we'll see with Ornstein and Smough, but Ornstein and Smough is, I don't know, that's like the, if you can beat Ornstein and Smough, you can beat the whole game with that, or under that challenge run, most likely. The only other wall I can think of is Nito, and that more comes down to your armor than your actual weapon. Four Kings is kind of a DPS check, but I don't know, even then I've done Four Kings with really low DPS recently even, and didn't have much trouble with it. So, if I can beat Ornstein and Smough, which I have faith I'll be able to, then yeah, definitely we'll be able to beat the rest of the game. I definitely don't feel like I need to buff it, so I'm not going to be pouring any levels at all into Faith. This is just fine damage. If you wanted to take this into New Game Plus, which I don't know why you would, but if you wanted to, I don't know, Lightning Blade, or whatever it's called, the one that you get past Gwendolyn, would probably be more than enough to get you through that. If you don't want to use Dark Moonblade, jeez. I am very tired. Owie. My face. No, damn it. That's so awesome. If I hadn't tried to heal, that would have been first try through Orlando, but whatever. You know, 2 hits without a crit modifier, that's not, again, not that bad damage. With the crit modifier, I'm pretty sure that would have one-shot. I'm gonna go get a plus 15 finally. Okay, what's our final AR? 373. Not the worst AR. I've actually had lower on heavier or slower weapons, so I don't know. I feel like this weapon is overhated. Making it a challenge run is a bit of an overstatement, I think. Oh my god, yeah, that's not bad at all. What? Okay. Oh my god. The black eye orb message made me not be able to sprint, and that threw off my timing. I never pick up the black eye orb because of that. And I grabbed it this time because I wanted to kill Lachek, but... Oh, that's so awesome. Throwing off my whole steez. See? This wouldn't have happened. Oh my god. Wombo combo. Smo. Okay. That's so awesome. That's so cool. Ornstein and Smo are such a good boss. My salt isn't the game's fault, I don't think. I usually like most of Ornstein and Smo. However, the Black Eye Orb quivering message completely blocking you from running or rolling or doing anything at all, including closing it, is really annoying. Might just go ahead and do that real quick, actually. Might as well. Okay, he doesn't do that much damage. Doesn't have that much health either. Especially since I have 2 heals. Not being able to parry or backstab is a little annoying, but not the worst. Yeah, there we go. Easy. Might as well. Alright. Hopefully this attempt will end a little bit better. Pop power within before going in. Hopefully the giants don't screw me over this time. Okay, I guess they will. That's cool too. Hopefully Smo doesn't screw me over this time. Okay. Yeah, really not that bad damage. Oh, 3 for a stagger. What? Okay, why do people hate this weapon? Like, I know I'm at plus 15 on ONS, but... Aren't you normally? I usually am. This isn't bad at all. Okay, here we go. Okay, or not. Oh, that's so awesome. What a good time for that to happen. The camera. Okay. Is that a stagger? I don't think it was. There we go. ONS first try. That was really easy. Especially the first phase. And the second phase was only that bad because skill issue. That was not the weapon's fault at all. Might as well keep up the tradition of doing the 4 kings as my first lord. Especially since I just want to get the Hydra out of the way. The the main reason I started doing the 4 kings first is because you have to go into the garden to kill Sif, which is right next to the basin, so that I would stop forgetting to do the Hydra before going into the Duke's Archives. And so far, the strategy hasn't failed me, but I'm sure one day I'll just completely forget to do the Hydra. And the thing is, I know the whip is like actually kind of good in Dark Souls 2 and Elden Ring. I'm not sure about Dark Souls 3, but I just know that people don't or think the whip is bad in this game. And I believed the lies too until now. I really just wanted to know how bad it was because I couldn't imagine it was nearly as bad as the Ghost Blade, and so far that assessment has been extremely correct. Oh my god, it broke off a head in 1 hit. What? Okay. I could easily do this in 6 heads with Power Within. I might be able to do it in 6 without. It's gonna be close though. Oop. Oops. I could do an R1. Okay, maybe not. An R1 followed by an R2. So I could get some extra damage and definitely do it in 6 heads. But... okay, never mind. I'm definitely not doing it in 6 now, because that was a running attack and that chopped off the head. Oh my god, an R1 chops off the head. Okay, if I had done jumping attacks, I definitely would have done 6 heads. And the range, Jesus. Okay. The whip is good? Question mark. Wow. I don't understand how early game it was so garbage, and then it got good now. I don't know. Good might be an overstatement, but it's definitely very usable. I don't feel like I'm using one of the worst weapons in the game. That's definitely for sure. I'm baffled that this was considered a challenge run ever. If I remember correctly, there was a whip video uploaded by someone pretty recently, but I'd have to fact check myself. But like, even, a decade ago, this definitely doesn't seem like it would be that much of a challenge run. So I guess at that point, Dark Souls was still, or the community around Dark Souls was still kind of coming into its own, and especially around Dark Souls 1. So that kind of came to a head, in my experience, at least around 2018 when Remastered came out, and so many more people got into Dark Souls 1 specifically because of that, especially people who didn't want to play the console versions of the original, which were something, for sure. I don't know, it just doesn't seem like a challenge run. I don't know. This is a fun weapon. I really like this. I don't know why I've avoided it for so long. I guess because I don't know. I think, again, also, like, again, I did think it would have been a boring run just because slightly lower damage isn't that interesting to watch. So I haven't done it as a challenge run, obviously, but I don't know why I avoided it casually. I guess it's because I thought it was much worse than it actually is. Oh my god, that was a lot of damage. So, like, I don't know. This is a fun moveset. I like the weapon. It's decent damage, especially with Power Within. Like, I don't know. This is just a good weapon. This is just a weapon in Dark Souls. No critical is annoying, especially early game. That's really what made it hard to use early on, or that's partially what made it really hard to use early on. But like even now, or even then, I don't know. It's a fine weapon. Not challenge unworthy at all, is my point. Though I feel like I've kind of driven that point into the ground. Whoops. The range does seem like it should be bigger than it is. That is one problem I have, though that's kind of minor, to be honest. Because it's not like the range is bad. Like, look at this damage. This is Sif. This is a boss that you're expected to be at plus 15 for. But even if I was at plus 10, with Power Within, this is not bad. Or this wouldn't have been bad, I don't think. There we go. Jeez. I was a little bit worried about the Four Kings earlier, admittedly, but honestly, now I'm not at all. I feel like this is going to be a pretty easy Four Kings fight. Let's see if I can first try the Four Kings. I don't know if I have that much faith in myself or this weapon, but I don't know. I fought the Four Kings quite a bit. This might go well. It might also go extremely poorly. We'll see. Okay. Oh, of course. If I don't get unlucky with the attacks like that, if it doesn't AoE 6 times in a row, I should be fine. At least in terms of damage. Okay, well. That's not very cool. I literally just said I don't want you to do that. That's even worse! Okay, whatever, it's fine. Oh my god. RTSR is an option if I end up needing it, but I shouldn't. I just need to get more lucky with the attacks. And even then, I should be able to do it this time, no problem. Even if power within runs out soon. Okay. Yeah, DPS is not an issue. Yeah. Easy for King's Fight. There we go. Easy. The only other lord I'm worried about at all is Nito. And even then, I'm not really worried about it, but might as well go get it over with. It's probably the hardest lord. At least for most challenge runs. Casually, it's pretty easy, because you can just poise tank really easy, but... Oh, I didn't think about Pinwheel. This might be kind of difficult. I'm gonna cast Power Within just because I think it's gonna be funny. Yeah, okay. 3 hits. You know, okay, so I've done runs with weapons that were, like, supposed to be bad before. I've done runs with weapons that are, like, considered good, right? And they've taken more hits on Pinwheel than that. Like, I know a lot of them are more about speed or whatever, right? But even then, Pinwheel's, or the whip isn't that bad. Like, I guess it's usually 4 hits without Power Within, but I'm sure it would have only been 4, maybe 5 without Power Within. So, regardless, I think that's still a decent metric. Okay, let's see how horrible this ends up being. If it ends up being horrible at all. Maybe I should have leveled up my Estus a little bit more, but it's all good. Trust me. Everything's fine. Huh? Why does that last so long? Can I escape this? I can. Okay. Not awful. Not great. Yeah, I figured I'd be hit by that. That's a great time to pop at humanity, I think. Reason I put that in my hotbar. Okay. See, now I need to go to the other way. I don't know if this will be far enough. Okay, go to us. There we go. Yeah, okay, that was really easy. I feel like the range of the R2 is going to be extremely helpful with this worm. I said the R2 was bad earlier, but I was a doubter then. I'm a believer now. Wow. I think I like the whip. You know what? The range on the R2 is extremely useful for, you know, stuff like the wall hugger, the Hydra, the worm there. A lot of weapons just don't have an answer for that. Like, it's either a polearm or you're just screwed, right? Polearms can also have kind of unwieldy movesets if you're not used to them, like especially something like the Black Knight Halberd, which I think is the same moveset as the Gargoyle Halberd. Gargoyle Halberd. I'd say the Gargoyle, Jesus, Halberd is one of the best weapons in the game. And I'd say while this is not better at all, it definitely has some points on it. I do not dislike the whip. In fact, I quite like it. It's a fun weapon. I would recommend this for a casual playthrough, I think. Once you get past the starting areas and like actually get it to a decent upgrade level, it gets so much better. I don't know why it started off so terrible. Oh my god. But again, once you get past that first bit, god, this is just a straight up good weapon. On par with a lot of other weapons in this game. I would say better than a lot of weapons that a lot of people like. Like, again, the Astora Straight Sword, I think this is better than the Astora Straight Sword. It starts off worse, but it gets so much better. Especially with the A scaling that it gets in Dex, once you get to, I think it's like at plus 12 or something. And the scaling keeps getting better to plus 15. It's not like the letter grade is the scaling. There's a number in the background, and it gets the letter grade based off of the number in the background. So it continues increasing even after it gets to A. It doesn't just stay at that one level. And this has pretty decent scaling at this point. And the moveset is nice. It's pretty unique too. So it's going to be hard to use if you're used to normal weapons. But you get used to it pretty quick. Or at least I got used to it pretty quickly. And I like it a lot. Maybe they should have put the whip later in the game. It being in Blighttown does make sense from like a lore standpoint. But from a gameplay standpoint, like, you're going to use it that early, get no damage, and be like, oh, okay, so this weapon sucks. But like later in the game, it gets so good. Or they could have just give it better scaling at lower levels. But whatever. Either way, maybe A to S instead of B to A. I feel like that would give this weapon a much better shake in the community. Oh god. Ouch. One of the worst. One of the moves with the worst hitboxes in the game. Because its entire body becomes a hitbox, not just its feet that's actually doing the stomping. No, come back. Oh my god. Ouch. Oh my god. Okay. I've also taken to just sprinting past these bounding demons in Lost Izalith. Oh. I started doing this pretty recently. There was no reason I didn't before, other than just not wanting to deal with the bounding demons. But, I usually don't get hit by them, actually, because they're pretty passive. See, as soon as I ran away a little bit, just kind of chilling. It decreases the amount of time you spend sprinting through the lava, and I appreciate that. I was gonna say NPC fights tend to be harder than normal enemy fights, but never mind. I don't know if I have enough arrows for this, but I want to see if I can show off the easiest way to take out the Bit of Chaos. At least, easiest for me. I know you can also do a thing where you throw 2 firebombs in specific locations, but I've never been able to do that. Mostly because I haven't tried. I've tried it once or twice and just kind of gave up and never tried again. Okay, so if you stand here, you pull out a bow. You can shoot in this direction. It takes a few arrows because you have to get rid of the roots, obviously. But eventually, I think I'm just... Okay, well, I ran out of arrows, but you get the idea. It works, I promise. I thought I was gonna miss that. I'm so awesome. I will never understand why people find the Bit of Chaos so infuriating. Okay, let's see if the whip can actually hit it. Okay. You know, actually, that goes straight down. That would have been so much easier to hit the crystal lizards with. I need to actually pay attention to the moveset of this thing, because it's genuinely extremely diverse and very, very useful for a lot of different scenarios. Do whips bonk? I assume they don't, right? Oops. Oh my god. Skill issue. Okay, that one was unfortunate. Okay. Whips do bonk. That's not cool. I feel like it shouldn't, to be honest. Not bad damage, though. I've definitely had significantly worse damage on... Or for the boars, specifically. For weapons that were supposed to be good, right? So... Very versatile weapon. Not amazing for anything, but pretty decent for most things. And really, really good at, like, a few very specific things for some reason. Like the Hydra. So the Crystal Hollows are one of the few late-game enemies that I actually parry. They're also one of the few late-game enemies that you can parry. So this is going to be a little bit different from what I'm used to, but I can't imagine it will be that bad. Assuming I can actually land my attacks. I imagine, actually, the RTSR is really, really good for this, because the way the RTSR works, for the Red Tear Stern Ring, is it multiplies your damage, your motion value, right? So the way that the damage works is it goes through a formula, and that formula has motion values which depend on the speed of the weapon and usually the size. So like arrows have really, really high motion value, while something like a straight sword has a pretty middle of the road motion value, right? But because of the way that works, the RTSR multiplies specifically the motion value, not your actual raw damage output, which is what Power Within does, I believe. So I imagine that Red Tear Stone Ring would be really, really good for the whip, because, you know, it moves a lot, especially like the jump attack. So with RTSR, it will increase your jump attack damage a lot more than your, say, R1 damage, just because of how it works and how it multiplies your damage. Oh my god. Why am I... I got hit a few times on purpose because I want to be low health so I can die to Seath faster, but... Oops. I didn't know jumps could do that. Okay, yeah, I figured running R1 would take out a... Oh, it doesn't one tap. That sucks. Okay, well, jump attacks it is then. Alright, Seath time. The hardest of the four lords or something. That's not awful, but I wish it was more just because I hate fighting Seath. That's really not that bad though. That's like 5, assuming Power Within lasts long enough. Okay, assuming Seath does anything ever. Jesus. There we go. Probably could do 4, actually. Probably will end up doing 4. Wow, that jump attack is way better. Nice. Really, really easy Seath fight. Okay. Not that Seath is ever hard, but, you know. I would say that the DLC is the true test of a weapon's ability, but with how the resistances work in the DLC, I don't think that's entirely true. Especially if a weapon happens to use an elemental or non-physical, I guess, attack type. Like, the Reinforced Club, Fire Reinforced Club is, like, really, really good. But in the DLC, it's terrible because of resistances, right? Also, wow, I am doing so terribly immediately. Like, it's my favorite boss in the series. Not bad damage. At least. So, hopefully, the same is true of Artorias. That's the one I'm kind of worried about. At this point, Sanctuary Guardian is pretty easy. Relatively, anyway. Especially because of how low its health is. Doesn't make it any less of my favorite boss in the series, but... I do wish it had a little bit more health. I also feel like it would be more fun if this water slowed you down. Like the water near the Hydra, you know? Because... just because of the existence of the Rusted Iron Ring, I feel like that would add an extra layer of fun to the boss. Though I imagine a significant amount of people disagree with that. The thing is, Artorias isn't even like the hardest DLC boss. I don't think Artorias is that difficult. I think Calamite is significantly harder, but just because of how mobile Artorias is, if you don't have a good weapon... Oh, okay, bye. It just gets a lot harder. At least for me personally. Which is why I haven't beaten Artorias with the Ghostblade yet. I have never had them attack like that before, Jesus. I'm really not worried about Artorias. I feel like this will actually be a pretty easy Artorias fight. But I have PTSD from the Ghostblade. Okay. Yeah, that's not bad damage at all. Significantly better than the Ghostblade. It's like 70 per hit with RTSR or something ridiculously low like that. So... oh. That's not good. I don't think we'll be able to knock him out of buffing, so I'm not even gonna try. Yeah, really not bad damage. I'm too used to the speed of the Ghostblade, jeez. I need to heal. That's probably a bad time to heal. Ugh. Oh, that's fine. Okay, Power Within is absolutely not necessary. I am not playing well just because I'm way too used to the Ghostblade because of how many times I fought him with the Ghostblade because of how terrible it is. Yeah, okay. Easy Artorias fight. There we go. Oh, nice. I can one-shot the bullet heads. That actually makes them a lot easier to deal with. It might be because of instability damage, but regardless, it's nice to be able to take them out in one hit. Okay, yeah, definitely instability, but regardless. I swear to God. There we go. Yeah, very easy mimic kill. Unfortunately, could not kill it before it stood up, but pretty close. I think I'm gonna avoid using Power Within on Manus just because my style against Manus is extremely passive, and it would probably wear off before I actually killed him. Last time I used Power Within on Manus was on a Hyper Mode playthrough, and you don't really need to worry about it on that. That's mostly just for pure damage, and even then, yeah, that's not bad at all. I've done it with lower. I've done it hitless with lower, in fact. Oh, that was a really late roll. Or early roll, I mean. It could have been bad. I did not mean to R2. R2 there was bad. I wanted a jump attack. It's fine. Everything's fine. Just Manus. Manus is easy. There we go. Double jump attack is much better. Safer, too. That was also a very early roll, jeez. I have become overly cautious. I don't know why I want to do this hitless so bad. I've proven myself before. Oh, come on. That could have been it. Ugh. Really early roll. I don't know what's up with me today. There it is. Hitless Manus. With a whip, too. The whip is so much better than I thought it was. Rolling attack range is a lot better than I thought it was. Like I said, very, very versatile weapon. Even though the damage might not be the best, you know. Very useful weapon. I still think better scaling early on, and then slightly higher scaling now, would make the weapon significantly more viable and a lot less hated in the community. Along with not bonking on walls, but and a slightly longer reach for some of the attacks, but I still think it's a pretty good weapon. Especially compared to... why did you just slide? Okay, especially compared to what the community, generally, the consensus for the whip is, you know? Okay, that's Fire Breath. Oh, good damage. Okay. Yeah, the R1 isn't great, but... ouch. The jump attack and the running attack are pretty good. Especially compared to just the normal R1. Ah! Okay. Dang it, I keep wanting to jump attack and then accidentally strong attacking. Oh, that's even lower than a normal R1. Okay. Don't rolling attack unless it's your only option. Okay, see, this is where you want to run in. Just barely dodge that. I have no idea why he's using this so much, but I guess I'm not complaining. There we go. Nice and easy. Didn't even use Power Within that time. I probably should have, to be honest, with how much health he has, but it would have wore off really early on into the fight, probably about halfway through. So, didn't really think it was worth it. I don't know. Would have shortened the fight, but not really worth it. I'm hoping Gwyn won't be too bad. Jeez. I can't imagine he will be, but I am a little bit worried just because I'm so used to riposting. Guess we'll see. Maybe I shouldn't even parry. Maybe I should just try to learn the Gwyn fight without parrying. Nah. Hopefully this won't be too bad. Kinda worried about the damage number I'll see here, though. Oh, good. Not the worst. Definitely nowhere near the... what the... why did he do that? Oops. Okay. The cued parry got me. I do not know Gwyn very well at all, despite how much I played this game, just because I parry every time. Oh god. Oh, thanks, Pillar. I appreciate that. I feel like the grab is a good heal opportunity, if I actually take it. What? No! Oh my god, that's so much damage. Okay, nope. That was bad. It's fine. Okay, come on. Here we go. There we go. Nice and easy. Okay, in conclusion, don't use the whip for Gwyn. For the rest of the game, it's shockingly good. I'm surprised that it has so much, like, oh, this is the worst weapon in Dark Souls, when it's nowhere close to the worst weapon. Like, not anywhere near the worst weapon. A straight sword is worse. And people actually like that weapon, so I'm not sure what's with the whip hate. I actually have memberships back. I didn't have them for a while because of stupid stuff with how YouTube pays you, but I can finally do member shoutouts again. So thank you, V, Manorock, Ryan Rickard, and Funny Guy 619 for rejoining the channel. I hope you all enjoyed. I love you all, and I don't know how to end this.